All right. We live.
Okay, hey. This your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle. I'm back once again for another episode of Talk 22, hosted by me, your boy Mizzle to the Jizzle. It is Radio 2020, Radio 22, Talk 22. So excited I can't even get it out, y'all. But I'm here with a live panel today, full of energy. We're here to talk about something truly that needs to be talked about. Like I always do, I'm going through my internets, looking into different stuff that's going on, hoping to catch something for conversation to bring to y'all. And as I was doing it, I was noticing that there's a lot of conversations out there that is very detrimental to the healing of America here. There's been a lot of stuff happening, be that political, be that or stuff with the unrest, stuff with coronavirus, stuff with a lot of things going on, and we know that. And what I noticed is that in those conversations, at times there have been people who've been very much hateful in the way that they think and talk, and some of these people, it's been shocking to me because some of these people are some of the closest people I know. Well, I'm like, wow, I grew up with these people. I've been on dude forever. I work with old girl, and I'm like, wow, that's how they talk. That's how they really think. And it just been surprising to me. So, today's conversation, we're going to talk about racist friends. Some of us have them and you don't even realize it. But it's out there. It's true. Some of y'all might even be living with somebody who under your roof that think of you differently. So we're gonna talk about it. Today's conversation, I brought some heavy hitters, and I'm gonna introduce them today at this time. From the Milwaukee area, I got the homie Corey. Corey, say what's. Unmute your mic, please, and say what's up to the people. You gotta unmute the mic. There we go.
You hear me? You got me?
Yep.
Hey, what's happening, Mar? What's going on, man?
All right. Okay. Also on the line, I got from the Milwaukee area, the homie G. G is on the line. G, say what's up to the people, please.
Peace. Love.
I appreciate you for being on the line. Out of the Madison area, I got Karen. Karen, show some love to the people, please.
Hey, it's good to be here. Can't wait to get into these conversations.
Thank you for being here, Karen. Also, I got from the Milwaukee area, my homie Al. Al, say what's up to the people. You gotta unmute your mic and say hello.
There we go. Hey, what's up? Pleasure to be here.
I appreciate you for being here, Al.
So,
And
thanks for the
lastly,
invite,
Dave, you unmute your mic and say hello. You gotta turn the camera too, bro. Out of the Oregon area, the homie
absolutely.
G.
What's going on, man? What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here.
Thank you for being on the show as well, bro. Okay, so we're gonna just step right into it because we just got to get to it. So, first question of the day is: have you ever experienced friends that make racially insensitive remarks? I'm gonna start with you, D. Have you ever experienced any friends of yours that you found to make racially insensitive remarks at times? I think you may be muted.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've been around a lot of different. Can you hear me?
Okay, you were slipping in and out, but go ahead.
I've had a few friends that have made multiple insensitive remarks to different races, not directly towards me, myself, but towards other races where, I had to sit there and think like, wait a minute, that was kind of racist. A lot of times it's other races towards other races, not necessarily black towards white. But I've had some friends from the Middle East make racist comments about people from India, because they felt a certain way towards them because of a certain experience that they had with their culture or whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, wait, I had to think about it. Like, that was a racist comment. And just because it wasn't black and white, I had to really think about it, because normally if it's a black and white thing, then you obviously know. You can register it a little bit better. Like, that's a white person making a bad, a black person, or vice.
Right. I think D is coming in and out. We're gonna go to you next, Al. Al, have you ever experienced a friend or a person a coworker or someone that close that makes racially insensitive remarks?
Man, many times. Shoot, I was one of them. I said things that was racially insensitive a few times, but it's just a matter. We all just have to get a little conscious of where we are and considerate of our surroundings and people around us. Some people think it's funny, but some people really take it to heart. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to get more thoughtful of one another. Start passing around different energy around here. So it's very common. I mean, my thing is, how are you going to react to it? People have different racial opinions all around the world, everywhere you go. How are you going to react and respond to it? If I get upset every time I hear it, I'll be fighting every single day of my life. So, just how you handle it. I had it happen like a few months ago, one of my clients, and I just pulled him to the side gently and I told him what was up. He respected it immediately and got conscious of how we spoke from that point on.
Okay, appreciate you for that. I'm gonna go next to Corey. Corey, can you explain? Has this been any experience of yours that you've come across where friends of yours you may see online or you may not be online, or what, people at work or what have you, and you're like, wow, I didn't really know Ted was like that, or whoever, friends of yours that may have spoke out of turn.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I get it just about every day at work. Even growing up in suburban schools, you get it. And like Al said, it's how you react to it. But yeah, I experience it all the time. College, through my whole career, whole life, I experienced it. So, but yeah, absolutely, I
Okay.
have. Mm-hmm.
All right. The same question goes to you, G. Has this been an experience of yours?
Yeah. And I think the first thing we gotta address is, what are we talking about here? Because we all grew up playing the dozens. You know what I mean? We all grew up ribbing each other and talking shit. But there's a line, right? So I think it's too easy of a question, Ms. Jizzle. I think it's a deeper question than what it poses. When we talking about racism and people and you being around it, yeah, all of us have, and I guarantee you that everybody on this call has been racist to some extent. Now, are we talking about playing the dozens, right? Or are we talking about really like, I don't like this motherfucker, right? So, there's a fine line. I think Al said it. I think Corey backed it. It's all in how you take it. It's all in context. But yeah, of course, everybody's experienced it. They don't think it go away, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's something that's inevitable. It's like it's gonna be everywhere you go for the rest of our lives. Your kids' lives, their kids' lives. It's something on this planet that's not going away. Like you said, I just think we need to teach one another just how to handle it, and obviously don't support it. Don't support that type of don't subject people to that type of talk. You know what I mean? So We just have to teach one another and set it by example. It's something that's not going to go away. We just got to learn how to
Okay.
deal with it.
All right. I want to give Karen also an opportunity to weigh in. I didn't mean to not do ladies first, but
Oh, no.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to go ahead and weigh in as well, Karen. Do you have any thoughts on that subject?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up around a lot of racist comments. I have family members that span, kind of the continuum of being like really small town, right wing, law enforcement racists who I don't talk to really anymore. And then I've got, down the line to a little more open-minded, but when it comes down to it, we've all been steeped in this racist society, and those ideas get in our heads. Whether or not we're saying something like calling someone a racial slur or coming right out with it, we can make subtle statements that are characterizing people because of their skin color and not even realize that we're doing it. So a lot of my family that I was around, grew up in mostly white areas. So the only time they saw a person of color was on TV, usually in a negative context. And so they drew their conclusions from that. And, of course, I've said them too when I was younger and didn't understand. I probably still do sometimes because, like I said, that's just what we're conditioned to be. But, it's just all about learning and making sure that we point this stuff out to people when it happens and hope that people will learn and grow and change.
I definitely agree with that. I'm gonna go right back to you, Karen, with the next question to follow up on what you just stated. Many times I've also see on the internet that, especially now, when there's been speech or something that people disagree with, it is so quick that everybody just says, block, delete, I blocked them, I deleted them, they out of there. My question to you is the delete or the block button the best option in these situations?
Yeah, good question. And my answer is that it depends. So for me, and other white people out there, if you're starting to see your other white friends come with some really racist ideology and you're wondering about that and you can't get through to them, your job is to engage that person. Your job is to try to figure out, why did they say it? Do they truly understand the impact of what they said? And try to get in there a little bit. Make sure at least they understand the harm that they're doing when they say stuff like that, even if you can't change their minds. But white people gotta resist the urge to hit that block button, because it's our job to dismantle some of these issues that are going on. White people built them. White people got to fix the problem.
Okay, Karen. Okay, Karen.
So for us, now we also got to balance that with self-care, because you've got a lot of really awful conversations out there, and social media has a way of sucking you into this vortex and just destroys your whole day, your whole week and your mentality. So you got to balance it with taking care of yourself, but at the same time, every time you think you don't want to engage with racist behavior, you got to remember that someone who isn't white can't turn that off. So it's up to us to keep pushing through.
That is very true. Very true. I'm gonna go next to D. D, the same question. When it comes to hateful speech or hateful tones that you may come across on internet, I mean, is the block or the delete button, is that the way to go? I mean, we hear so many times people say, I ain't got time. Is that what it is? I ain't got time?
I think personally, it boils down to the individual. You have to be willing to engage in conversation, if it's a friend of yours, especially to kind of educate them on certain topics. You know what I mean? A lot of times people say ignorant things and don't even realize that it's ignorant, and that's hard because the internet is always undefeated. So you're gonna get comments, here and there about so many different topics. If I have a friend that's a Trump supporter, is he necessarily racist because he's a Trump supporter, or is he racist because he's racist? And it's a conversation that him and I would have to have, because I have some friends that do, support Trump, And it has kind of created a huge rift in our relationships because for me personally, I feel like if you are supporting that, it shows some of your character if you're believing in what this man believes in and how he's treating and mishandling other races. So in my opinion, I just think it boils down to having a conversation with individuals as opposed to just blocking and deleting. I don't waste the time to block or delete anybody. Like I just won't engage in whatever it is that they're talking about, and ignore it basically personally. But everybody else, may be different on that topic.
Okay. Corey, the way you look at it, I mean, is the delete button the best option? Or, I mean, sometimes they say when you argue with fools, it's hard to see the difference between who's the fool and who's not, right?
Yeah, I think it depends. For the most part, if they say something completely left, then I probably would delete. But for the most part, like Damon said, if it's a Trump supporter, person that have different values, different beliefs, hear them out. Hear them out. You may not agree with it. You might not agree with it, but hear them out. See, just to see, you'll learn a lot from people. And you'll learn how they were brought up too. But yeah, it depends for me.
So kind of all depends on the situation, right?
Depends on the situation. Yes.
Okay. All right. Alan, I'm gonna give you a chance to answer that one.
Oh yeah. So first of all, we're talking about the internet. One, we all have the option and the liberty to cut it off or on. If you want to place yourself and indulge in that where it's flooded with racism, then that's your choice. So I feel two ways about this. So if I hear some or read or hear some racial slurs online, one thing, I want to hear it. I care to hear all of it, because then, I mean, we are at war in a sense, not me personally against anybody, but there's a racial war out here. So if you hear how your enemies think, you will definitely learn how to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn how your enemy is thinking if you want to consider them an enemy or somebody you want to help, whatever it is. Psychologist has to listen to the patient in order to figure out how to help them, right? So we don't have to clap back with racism or get angry with it. We can know how to tap into them to help them see a different perspective if you listen and hear them out. Then again, you have those people that just want to be that way and they're not going to change. Hit delete. First of all, I don't want that energy in my life. So I choose not to hear that stuff unless it can be constructive or productive. So.
Okay. I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna ask you the same question, G. The way Alan Al spoke on it based off of the way he feels when he sees things on the internet. But I guess I'm even looking at it as a person who you actually know, a person who you are actually maybe family or friends with, and they are speaking out of turn. Is the block or the delete button the route to go?
So I give you the short answer is no, absolutely not. If it's your family, if it's your friend, absolutely not. I mean, I'm not gonna knock nobody who is just, maybe has fought that fight, maybe has, had that argument enough with a certain person, and they like, you know what, like Al said, get this negativity out of my vision, and I've blocked some people that I've went to high school with that just can't see the point. Like you're not seeing it from my angle, bro. So, we can either go back and forth all day or not. But when it comes to family and friends, absolutely not, man. And it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, like Al said again, you want to kind of know where your enemies stand. I like it. I enjoy seeing different sides of people that I'm friends friends with on Facebook,
Mhm.
you know, give their opinion. Cause then I'm like, oh, that's you. That's you. Okay, got it.
Mm.
Got it. You know, and, but also the, you know, the second reason is if you can help, if there's the slightest chance that you can make somebody see something from a different angle, why not try? You know what I mean? And I'm half white, man. So I have family that I've avoided for the last, how long we been in quarantine? The last,
Wow.
you know,
6 months or so.
something like
Right.
that.
7 years, 7 years.
Right. So I've avoided these conversations partly because I know where they stand, partly because I don't know where they stand and I don't want to be or block them or whatever it is in an effort to try to educate. You know what I mean? So that
Okay. So there's always an opportunity to maybe engage in enlightenment in that situation, I guess is basically what you're stating. Karen, has social media opened you to the ideology of people who you may know more? Or, I mean, before social media, you may have not really knew some of these things about your friends. But because of social media and the things that they put out there, you may now realize, you know, you see a video of your homegirl dancing to WAP, and you're like, oh, I didn't know she was like that, or you know, certain stuff like that.
Wow.
You know, but you know, now we talking about maybe a Donald Trump video, and she's all about that, and she's about it not because of political, but she's about it because of the racial conversations and dynamics that he may have put out there, and they were in agreement to that. And now you see that. With that being said, do you think social media has opened your eyes now more towards things about your friends and their ideologies?
Oh, definitely. It's so easy for people to speak before they think with social media because they're typing it out, they're not in front of someone, the reactions aren't as real and ready. So it's easy to just pop off at the mouth when you're on a keyboard. And so some people put that out there, I think, before they've really thought things through. At the same time, you do, as many others have mentioned tonight, you start to get that true personality that comes out. You're not seeing people in their work environment. Even sometimes family environments are a little like you have your family face on, right? And on social media, it feels more anonymous than that, and you see that stuff coming out. And so it's just, for me, that's really helpful because it gives me a chance to see, like, okay, where I thought we had the same stance on these issues, but now that, especially now when all of these really controversial things are coming out, you know, people really, it's easy to say Black Lives Matter, but when it comes down to what we can do about it, that's when the true colors start to come out. That's when the deep down thoughts and feelings, like, I believe Black Lives Matter unless this, that, and the third. And so you can really start to get into those things and sometimes deal with them. Sometimes people don't want to listen and they don't want to learn.
It is crazy how that's a controversial statement in itself. But yeah, D, the same question I'm gonna go to you with saying that do you believe that social media has kind of maybe opened your mind up to your different peers around you and seeing their perspective on things, on statements, like she said, on things like Black Lives Matter and certain statements like that?
Absolutely. I think it definitely opens your eyes to the relationships that you have, you know, with social media, because people will post things or say things that will raise your eyebrows, you know, and have you thinking like, damn, I didn't really think you thought like that, but now, you know, you do. And it's a lot of them are contradictory because they may say Black Lives Matter and then have something ignorant to say behind that. You know,
Right.
it's a Black Lives Matters, but I'm still on this stance or whatever the case may be. So it does raise my eyebrows on a lot of it. And sometimes it's hard to have those conversations because some people just they won't get it, no matter how much you try to talk to them or educate them on, why we as a culture are suffering and have been suffering for so long. They still won't understand it, and you'll see I post a lot of, injustice things in my social media, just I post a lot of things that are kind of funny, but it's like, damn, that kind of sucks, for Black people. Or, like, damn, that was racist as hell by that white man or whatever. Like, I'll post that just to get a reaction out of people so we can engage in the conversation, so I can give you my stance on certain things and I can hear you out as well. But a lot of times it's kind of hard to see how people really think on social media. That's crazy the world we live in. It's social media we're talking about, but
Right.
that's what it is. Black lives matter, and then it's like, no, all lives matter. Well, wait, you're not understanding what this is about. I'm not saying that one way or the other. Just making a case. Don't shoot that black man 7 times in the back.
True. Okay. Corey, same question to you then. With the way that social media kind of highlights things, you believe like this is something like you're seeing more out of your friends or the coworkers or your family members or people around you just based off of the stuff they may put out there?
Oh yeah. Well, social media. I'm not on social media, but
Okay.
it exposes everything, and you really get that now that the elections are right around the corner. You really get that. People post stupid things. Me, I don't have any of that to worry about. But just yes, man. A long story short, yes, it exposes you and open you up to things and people looking at you differently. Uh, but yeah, absolutely, exposes
Okay.
you.
Al, I'm gonna ask you another question here.
What's up?
Should we be calling out prejudice behavior on all parts? There was an incident just recently where one of the NBA players, Luka Doncic, had a situation where he got into it with one of the other players on the other team, and I guess they came at him and started talking about him, but they came at him talking about him through his race.
Yeah.
And calling him, certain things, blankety blank white boy and this and that. So should we be calling out all those? They say, well, now wait a minute here, you can't be having a jersey that say Black Lives Matter and all this different stuff and talking about equality and all this other stuff, but then you talking like that at the same time. Play, perfectly here. We doing a devil's advocate. Is that a double standard?
It's a crazy situation. Honestly, I look at it all the same, like we said earlier. It's something inevitable. This whole movement is triggering a lot of people emotionally. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know how they felt about this until the situation came up. You hear people blurting stuff out that they never blurted out before. You know what I mean?
We lost your mic, Al. Okay, he's
personally,
back.
I'm sorry. Me personally, that's just how I have to handle it. Like I said earlier, it's how you respond to it. Like you said, this is going on in the NBA. Like, how you gonna respond to that? Somebody calls me a racial slur, I'm gonna tell them thank you. Honestly, that's how I'm gonna handle it. Whatever it is you say racial, I'm gonna say thank you. That means you took the time and energy and hours out of your day to think about me. That's how I look at it. So you must be admirable about it, whoever you decide to spend all that energy towards or put all that energy towards. So like I said, you just have to redirect it and deflect it. That's the only thing I can figure out to do. We can't change everybody's mind and tell them to think differently or whatnot. But you can influence their opinion and how they view, the situations when you're dealing with different races. I should say cultures. I don't like saying racist.
Okay. G, I'm gonna come to you. I mean, is it at the time in America 2020 here that we just have to call a spade when we see something that's bogus, we just have to call it what it is and say, yeah, that is a statement, or that's wrong, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but yeah, but there's a but, right? So
Okay.
If we're gonna be no racism, no, no slurs, no this, no that, yeah, it should be a unified front, right? But then you'll also get that argument of what is racism, right? Because there is racism. Um, but let's talk about race. So there's a human race, and within this race, there are subcultures. And when you think about it, man, it's really only two. There's two races. There's the white race and there's the non-white race, right? So, you'll get that argument that, well, racism was created by white people. So race was created by white people and racism too. And I'm not an advocate for this. I'm just telling you the argument we're going to run into, right? So if I say nobody can be racist anymore, period, you're going to get these arguments. Well, race was created by a certain group of people, right? And therefore, we can't be racist. I can't be racist, right? So you're going to get that whole argument on that side. So do you call it out in today's day and age in 2020? I think so. I think absolutely, no matter what. And it's a hard cycle to break because that's what we're all used to, but you're gonna get pushback, man. You're gonna get arguments.
Okay.
I don't know if that cleared up anything, but we might be going down a rabbit hole right now.
All right. I think we'll leave it there. Karen, I'm going to you with the next question. Is there a way to educate ignorant people when they do make certain comments? Do you believe that there's just a way to bring enlightenment to people when you do see these comments on social media and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. And it sort of depends a little bit on how, like, what extreme the comment is on. So there's, the example of being really overt racism, racial slurs, just ignorant, popping off at the mouth kinds of statements, versus someone who's saying something that's like a ideology that's inherently racist, but if you just look on the surface, it looks like it's facts. But it's because that person doesn't understand all the layers of the situation. And that's what makes it racist. So for the people who are really overtly out there, sometimes they're just doing it for shock value. And so sometimes you're not going to get anywhere with them. But it's worth trying. It's worth sharing information. It's worth calling out to let people know that that's not okay and that there's another way of thinking about it. One of the most important things, and it kind of goes to what G was just saying, is understanding our history. So none of us have been taught our actual US history. We've been taught a very one-sided, whitewashed version of it. And it's absolutely true. White people did invent race. And if you look back into when this country formed, when the colonies were formed, at first there was no mention of Black and white. It was Christian and non-Christian. And then Black people started being Christian and marrying white people. And then all of a sudden we had to make laws to keep that power dynamic separate. And that's when we started seeing words like white and Black come up in our actual laws. So yeah, we did invent race and racism. And it's really, if you don't know that history, it's really hard to understand how we're here. Because there's so many layers and so much depth to it, and that's by design, right? So for people who come, when I see, these kinds of racist comments online or racist thought processes, I try to get in there with I'm a researcher, I'm a scientist, so I get at the facts, I get at the data. And I believe that's where you got to start, because we can't have a conversation unless we're starting from a common set of facts. Now, these days, fact and opinion, the lines are blurred, which is horrible. But if we can
Right.
agree on, okay, here are the facts. Now what are your interpretations of those facts? Then we can have a conversation. And that, I think, can be pretty effective if you're meeting someone at that kind of intellectual level and trying to talk through that way versus just saying, no, you're wrong, you're stupid.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. And I appreciate you dropping the knowledge of the facts of the history on us as well.
Yeah.
D, same question to you. Do you believe enlightenment is even possible to people who make certain comments online? I know for me personally, you know, I've had white family members who, when Colin Kaepernick first came on the scene and said and did everything that he did, they didn't understand it. They couldn't understand why he did it. They were totally in disagreement. They hated the NFL for it and everything. Since then, they have come to understand a little bit deeper, and seeing so many repetitive instances that they've now seen for themselves, and understand where that's coming from a little bit deeper, and understand the violence of the police towards one race when it comes to certain significant situations, more predominantly. So they understand it themselves. And my question to you is, do you believe that enlightenment can be reached in many of these situations where we do find people that say things online?
Well, for me, it's this whole deal. You know, we as black men, we've been dealing with this for our whole lives, pretty much, right? None of this is really new. A lot of what's going on now that's occurring. The only difference is it's right in front of us. You know, everything is accessible. The cameras are there. You're seeing cops with their knees on, you know, people's necks and killing us right in front of our eyes. But to enlighten, it depends on the individuals. You know, are they willing to receive that enlightenment? You know, it's hard to say because everybody views things so differently. You know, Marvin Gaye talked about what's going on, and here we are still what's going on. Like we're in the same damn scenario, you know, 30, 40 years later. So for individuals to be enlightened on what's going on currently and understand and gain an understanding, I think it solely depends on the individual itself. Because if you're willing to receive that information and do something with that information, then that's enlightenment. Like you're reaching out to your people, your white friends, whatever, and enlightening them on what's going on, you know, and how they can help. You know, helping is a huge thing because you can get all this information, see everything, and do absolutely nothing. Then what's the point? You're just out there receiving this information and not doing anything with it. So I solely think that it depends on the individual receiving the information, how they receive the information. You know, if they're willing to do something with it, then they can be enlightened. Otherwise, that's a lost cause. And it's a revolving thing. You know, we've been going through this for a long time, and it'll happen. We'll be dead and things will still be, you know, and they may be getting a slightly better, but I don't personally, this is my personal feel, I don't personally think that we'll just see a shift and change while we're alive. Like we're making great strides, you know, towards a lot of things, but I personally don't think that we will live to see that change. But I think it depends on
one of the things that I thank you for that, D. One of the things I do see is with this younger generation, they ain't afraid to call the spade a spade. You know, well, we kind of let things go, even, you know, my generation and older generations and whatnot before, you know, you may have known, everybody and their mama may have known that Bill Cosby maybe was doing a little something, pouring a little sugar into the drinks and stuff, and you know, doing things to the girls, you know, with the Spanish fly. But we kind of was like, you know, it's Bill Cosby, you know. But younger people was like, no, that ain't right, you know, and call him out on it. And, you know, years later, now he's in the situation he's in. Similar situation with R. Kelly, where we was like, yeah, he may have done something with Aaliyah, but you know, I love that song he did with so and so, you know, or I believe I can fly, you know, or whatnot, you know. We all loved him for whatever he did do, and we just disregarded the BS that he was on, you know. Uh, this kind of situation has occurred more and more, and I believe what I'm seeing is a lot of the younger people is really just calling out a spade for a spade.
But,
And
but let me ask you one question though. Why you make that point? My sorry. If those cases involved a lot more white women, do you think that it would have dragged out as long as it did? Because I think if it was R. Kelly dealing with white women or white girls, it wouldn't have dragged out this long. He would have been in a situation a long time ago. That's where the
well, they
race
say
comes into factor.
with
That-
Bill it was some white women, but with R. Kelly, you're right. It was a lot of the younger African American girls, and
Mhm.
I mean that's my opinion. You know, maybe it would have changed, and maybe it would have got called out a lot sooner
Right,
by America. You know,
right,
because
right.
America may not been feeling that, but with the
Yeah.
way that the younger generation is calling out the BS,
Mhm.
my question to Corey was going to be the same question I just asked D is, you know, is this a thing where we can actually still bring enlightenment on situations, or do we just got to call a spade a spade?
Uh, I think for the most part, no. Let a spade, man. Yeah, just like we said, we've been going through this for so long. Um, I mean, nothing is given here. You know, nothing is given. Uh, you would want to think so, but not after this. Not after this long time, man. It's just not. Nothing is progressing. I mean, each generation, I think everything gets better, race wise, but for the
Right.
most part, not really, man. And it's sad. You know, it's extremely sad. So, but that's my feeling on it. I don't think so.
Okay. Uh, Al,
Yeah.
when it comes to situations where we see certain languages and stuff being used, um, there's certain situations like rappers like uh, now I lost thought. Logic, I think his name was the half biracial rapper. Sometimes people say, you know, because a person is biracial, do they get a pass to use certain languages and make certain comments?
Oh, that's a rock and a hard place. That. Yeah, no, I think they uphold a different, higher position. This is weird, but you know, you gotta play both sides, kind of in a sense, and be a little sensitive. You gotta be sensitive to both sides. You gotta be considerate. So, technically, they can, but you know, they can say certain things, but you probably shouldn't because you're kind of talking about yourself in a sense, in a way, whichever way you want to go, and it just looks weird. So if I was biracial, I would just avoid it. Honestly, that's just me. Yeah, that's a rock and a hard place. Like you said, man, this is a world full of humans, and half of them are dumb. Sorry to say, but
It's true.
the world of
It's
stupid
true.
people. So, like you
Okay.
said, how are you? We can almost tell them what to think. You know what I mean? So it's weird. So how are you gonna handle it as that biracial rapper? You know, quote unquote. Like, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna come across and portray yourself when you have
Okay.
this ability to reach
I'm,
large masses?
thank you. G, I'm gonna go to you next. Same
Oh, that's the
question.
perfect person.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
I say you made this question for him.
Yeah, great question.
That's a
When I
setup.
look at it though, G, a lot of times on the internet, it will be certain people who feel like they have a pass to say certain things because of who their mom or dad is or whatever, you know, and because they are biracial, they have an opportunity to say what they want to say. They feel if we're to get mad and say Eminem can't say certain things on a song, but there'll be a rapper like Logic who I guess is one sprinkle of something black. Uh, he's able to say certain comments and use certain languages on the song, and I guess are we not to be offended by that?
That's a great question, man. That's a loaded question too, bro. So so first, let me just go back to something I said earlier, right? There's two races when you really come down to it. There's a non-white race and there's the white race, right? Being a biracial person my whole life, I mean, could anybody say like part of their life? But anyway, it's a struggle, man. There's different things, man, that I've encountered. And it's really like I always look at it like the boo-hoo factor, right? With a lot of biracial people, because you'll hear things like I never fit in, I'm never black enough, I'm never white enough, I never fit in. You hear those things, and I've heard them, but if you really look at that two race thing, are you like, is it like, are you never black enough? Are you stuck in this rock in this hard place, as Al put it? I don't know, bro, because our first black president was mixed, right? Bob Marley, legendary singer, was mixed. His father was a German soldier. You know what I mean?
True.
You look at Huey Newton, and you look at a picture of Huey Newton, and you know he mixed with something. You know what I mean? So now you struck a chord when you said that one rapper name, because I look at dude and I don't see a I don't see a sprinkle of nothing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
That goes.
that ain't, I ain't the judge and jury, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but you can look at certain people, man. You can look at Angela Davis, man, and you can see, all right, that's a black person. You can look at an albino person and say, okay, that's a black person. So and I'm getting away from the question, and I'm on like my third or fourth drink, but reel me in at any point, brother.
Hey,
Okay,
G, you know what? That's what I think when I said the world is full of stupid people.
Okay, I think we understand where you're coming from with that. I want to say shout out to one of our listeners, Quincy, who says depends on what that person identifies with. I think that's a good point. Karen, I'm gonna go with you. Do you agree with our listener Quincy, who says it depends on what that person identifies with, on whether or not that person, I guess, has the ability to speak on certain things?
Yeah, I think that's really important. The biracial question is a really complicated one, because like y'all were saying, there's a big continuum in how people appear, to other people. So if there's and skin color is just like that genetically, it just, it's not an easy answer. And so you never really know what someone's background is. When, we can't make assumptions there.
Right.
True.
So for people who are black identifying, there's nothing I can say about that. As a white person, that's not my place to have any opinion on that. I have no reference to that experience, and I never will. So that's not my business. But it is my business to talk about other white people, and white people never ever get a pass to say racial slurs, never ever get a pass to say the N-word. I don't care how many Black children you have, I don't care how many Black boyfriends you have, I don't care, you know, if you're white, you don't ever. Even if someone Black tells you you can, you don't ever, because there's just too much history that comes with that, and whether we know what the history is or not, it's still there.
Yeah, there's a lot of pain and hurt that comes from that, especially when it comes from the white race. That is correct.
And if I could just add, so that's tricky, right? When like talking to my young nephews who are into hip hop and listening to hip hop that has, and this was a problem when I was coming up too and really into hip hop. When I'm rapping lyrics, I gotta figure out a substitute word, which can be really hard in some songs because it's there all the time. But it's never okay. So I gotta think about homie, brother, you know, like what word am I putting in that place? And I gotta practice it that way so it doesn't slip out. My nephew was like 7, way too young, but you know, they're on the internet and YouTube these days and they pick that stuff up. And I heard him spit like the end of this rap lyric, and it was good. It was smooth. But then I had to call him out and say, you never say the N-word. And we talked a little bit about it. And I said, okay, now what word don't you say? And he hesitated. And he said, well, I can't say it. I'm like, good, you passed.
That's some good learning right there, Karen.
Right.
We do appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
I like that. You taught sensitivity.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
As I said, you got to teach compassion with this. Like I said, it's not going anywhere. You just teach people how to be compassionate with it.
Definitely.
Do you
start at an early age.
Yeah.
Yeah, never too early.
Okay. Going parallel to what Karen and these guys are saying, I'm gonna ask you, D. Do white people with Black family members get a pass to use certain languages or speak on certain things?
No. The answer in short, no. I mean,
hell no.
It's not acceptable, you know, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, because it does happen in a lot of different families. Like, you know, family members will get certain passes, but no, it should not be culturally accepted at all, because we've earned the right to keep all of our slang to us, our words to our culture. That's ours, right? So with that being said, it shouldn't be okay, because then it does come off a little insensitive, you know, towards a lot of people in our culture. So if you're white and you're in my family and you calling me all types of N-words, we got a problem. You know, that's just what it is. Like, even in fun conversation, like, oh no, you stop tripping, whatever. And no, it's not. You got to find, like Karen said, find that substitute word, homie, bro. I'm not your bro either, but you know, you call me something other than the N-word. You know what I mean? Like I've had, now that's something that I personally can, you know, relate to, because I got white friends, like we all do. But I've had some white friends, you know, just hit me with the bro. And that to me is offensive, you know, because for me, my brothers is my brothers. Like we're all dark. You know, that's how I perceive it personally. And you know, if one white member called me the N-word, then like I said, it's an issue off top. Like it's non-negotiable. There's certain things in life that's just non-negotiable. I'm not, you don't get that pass, because if you say it around me, you might slip up around some other Blacks that's definitely not accepting it and get your ass whooped. And that's
very
that's
true.
just it. And I'm gonna sit back and be like, hey man, I told you, like, you know, don't look for my help. You know, I'm gonna watch you get that beat down. You know, and go from there. But no,
I tried to told you.
It's not okay.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Corey, I'm going to you now with that same question, but not even using the vernacular of certain words or slang, but if we have white people in our family, do they get the opportunity to tell us maybe how we should feel about certain things, like when they see like the violence of the police, or how we should feel about things that happen to us?
Hell no. You can't tell us how to feel.
Right.
You can't. I mean, straight, no. You can't tell us how to feel. We feel strongly about our roots. We feel strongly about our history, how our kids are taught. We feel strong about this certain things in life. So you can't just tell us how to feel. Absolutely not. You can't. Mm-mm. Not going for it.
Okay. But can you tell me why though? Like, why you would say that? Like, why? I understand you're saying they can't tell us how you feel, but like, is there a reason why you feel like they can't over maybe some of your brothers here?
I mean, this goes way back. I mean, history, this is our history. This is our life. This is our livelihood. You just can't tell somebody how to feel on certain things. You know what I mean? It's just, you can't.
Because the way they haven't experienced it in the same way, right?
This absolutely. This is our history. Like I was saying, this goes way back, man. Like way before us, my father's father. It's in us. You can't. It's too strong. It's within.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna ask the final question here. I'm gonna go right back to you, Corey, with this question. Should we feel a certain type of way when our friends separate us when they discuss about situations or things that they feel about towards minorities? Like if they were to say, all black people is like such and such, but not you though, Corey. You a good one.
Like, should I feel
How should you
negative?
feel about that?
I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I don't represent every single black person. I only can give you
Of
my
course not.
experiences. You know what I mean? But I don't too much care for that, because they may know me a little bit more than they know the next man. So they can say, "Oh yeah, Corey is a good guy," but then you saying the rest of my culture is bad. You know what I mean? So I don't too much care for that personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Karen, I'm gonna go to you with that same question. How should one feel about that if they have a situation where someone is separating them from the way that they speak honestly about all black people, but they separate you from that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just white people's way of excusing their racism, of justifying to themselves, trying to say that they're not racist, even when they're making racist statements. There's been some surveys out there that say, white people would rather be accused of being murderers than being accused of being racist. That's just how much we've been ingrained in that's bad. If you're racist, you're bad. And so a lot of us will do anything we possibly can to put on this perception that no way, I don't have a racist bone in my body. Some of my best friends are black. So if a person's making qualifying statements like that, no, what they really believe is the first part that they said. They may kick it with you, they may like you, but they've got that solid mentality and it's there. And so I can't tell you how to feel about it, but I can tell you what it means.
So in fact, despite the disclaimer, was what you're saying is they meant what they really said.
That's right.
Okay. That's kind of what I thought. But Al, I'm gonna go to you with the same question. Should we feel a certain type of way about our friends that try to make certain observations but exclude us from that population when we are in fact of that population?
Yeah, this is hogwash and wordplay. what they call it, that's double talk. Like how the natives used to say. Yeah, that's all that is. Just I feel like what Karen said. That's really how they truly feel. Like you ever heard somebody start off a story with like, I ain't gonna lie though, but like you lying. Like, I'm not listening to anything else you're saying after that. That's how I feel. Yeah, you say a racist comment and you want to exclude this one individual just because they're in your face at that moment. So I'm pretty sure they feel the same way about you when you leave the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that I did say that was the last question, but I do want to change it up with one last question for these last two gentlemen. D, can you maintain a relationship with somebody that is one way with you, but they want to be different elsewhere? So they can be cool with you, but elsewhere they may not be cool with you or people like you.
So they're cool with me in one place, but not cool with me in another place?
They can be cool with you when it's you being
Convenient.
there, but when you're not there, they may not be cool with
So
people
basically,
like you.
smiling in my face, but hating on my race.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm getting at.
So you're asking me, can I be cool with it if I know that? No.
Yeah, like is that a situation you feel like you can still maintain? Like, well, that's not how he is around me.
No, not at all. Absolutely not. I'm 42 years old. There's no way I'm going to sit here and say, "Hey, my buddy's not racist to everybody." No. If you racist to one, then that's enough. You know what I mean? Like it's there's certain things that are deal breakers in life. You know, and if you're disloyal, you're a liar, you're not honest, and you're a racist, then those are a few that I don't want to deal with. You know, I can't have that relationship with you. There's a code of ethics that you have to have in building relationships, and being racist isn't a part of that. So if someone is, you know, cool with me, but hating on you or hating on Corey or, you know, these other fine gentlemen in this chat, then that's not acceptable to me. I mean, there's no place in our world for that, you know, and it exists because people are stupid. But no, it's not something that I could ride with.
Okay, I appreciate you for that. Melody, I'm giving you the final word on that. If you find a friend that's in that situation where they may be good with you, but when they're not around you, maybe you're hearing that they aren't as cool. Is that a situation where you feel like you could still maintain that relationship?
It's funny, man, because I was on mute, but when you first asked it, I was over here dying, man. I was laughing because that's a simple answer to that question, man. And my man D said it all. Nah, not at all. Like, I mean, if we cool when it's just me and you, but when you're not around me, we not cool. Nah, B, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. The phoniness needs to be called out as just the same. I think that's what we're basically saying here is that some of these things just have to be called out for what it is. And, you know, some of these, the only way we can change is by calling some of this out. And that's the only way some of this will ever change and get healed is by just calling out, like I said, calling a spade for a spade and saying it is what it is. Some people may not want to hear it, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So I appreciate all you gentlemen and Karen for joining us today, as well as those of you out there. Also, yeah, I see a last comment by the homie Ross that said he also agrees if a person can't keep it 100 when they with you, then they really can't be trusted. So we gotta mind that.
No doubt.
So I appreciate you for
No
that
doubt.
also, Ross. But yeah, I do appreciate everybody on the line. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to just speak on your cause and what you all about. Al, We know you got the barber shop out there. Can you tell the people where they can find you? You gotta unmute your mic, sir. Did we lose his mic?
No, that is there now.
Okay.
Now can you hear me?
Yep, we got him.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. You can find me at Two Kings Barbershop. I'm at the Sherman Phoenix. It's a great place. There's 29 Black-owned businesses in there. It's a great example of everybody pulling together and seeing what we can all do. We all are on the same accord. It's 3536 North Fond du Lac Avenue, Two Kings Barbershop. You can find me in the first floor on it's an atrium next to the what's it called, Rise and Grind.
Okay. You want to leave us with the IG?
Oh well, you know what? Ooh, not internet savvy. I had a kid make it for me, so I can't even tell you what it is right now. But you can contact me at 414-699-3447. That's Original the Barber.
Okay, we thank you, Al, for being on the show.
Man, thanks for
as
having
well,
me.
the homie, it's like a 5E reunion. The homie Mela G. Let the people know where they can find you and what you've been up to, bro.
Man, I'm working, B. I mean, they can they can call me, man, but I'll be working. I
feel you.
I just work, B.
You said I got a job, yo.
Promote. All right, let me promote peace. Can I promote?
Hey.
Can I promote peace?
There you go.
Shout out to being essential. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You want to leave them with the IG or anything? Okay, I think he's good. All right, D, let the people know where you at.
What's going on? My business brand is Uplift, UPLFT. I'm promoting health and wellness. So I do a lot of virtual trainings, fitness related one-on-one, small group trainings. I do virtual classes on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They're donation-based classes. You know, I'm promoting Black health, Black wealth, Black fitness, but it's also open to everyone. You know, we're all human beings, and you know, I'm promoting health and wellness. I got a lot of family members who've dealt with a lot of health issues, which a lot of us, you know, have family members that have. So that's kind of been my focus, you know, is to try to reach and touch as many people as I can possible, and also expanding my brand into a clothing brand as well, so a lifestyle brand. So yeah, you can reach me on Instagram. My handle is at UPLFT_1, and on Facebook it's at UPLFT1. And that's my spiel.
We thank you for joining the show, and yeah, shout out to you, because health is a crucial thing with all the coronavirus and everything going on right now. People's physical and mental health is a priority at this time.
100%.
Karen, thank you for that, D. Karen, let the people know what you've been doing in the Madison area.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. First, Urban Community Arts Network is a nonprofit that's been working to build equity in the music scene. So getting equal access to stages for hip hop artists and artists of color for the past 10 years. And we're working on a project right now to kind of blow that up and really get into the policy of it. So if you're interested in learning more about that, go to our website, ucanmadison.org, UCAN Madison.org. And then the other thing that I do is I work for a nonprofit called Nehemiah. That's NEHEMIAH. Go to nehemiah.org, and we've got a reentry conference coming up. So a whole conference learning about the impact of incarceration on the family. And you learn about a lot of different aspects of what goes into that. And then we also have a lot of training opportunities and history classes. Some of the things that I was talking about tonight, you can go to our website, nehemiah.org, or at Nehemiah Madison on all the social media.
Yeah, well, shout out to you. Thank you, Karen, for being on the show. We know you've done a lot for the hip hop culture in the Madison area, and we respect and appreciate you for that.
Appreciate that.
Also on the line was the homie Corey. Go way back, you know, like Cars in Reverse. But yeah, we appreciate you for that, Corey.
That was an
Mentally a
old man
fool for that
saying.
First
one.
of all, man, I want to say thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us. This was fun. Yeah, man, I'm looking to get in the future, near future, maybe later, maybe pick up a duplex or two. Not on social media, but they can find me at cgrace113@gmail.com. And special shout out to everybody that marched for us, man, especially white folks.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
that's near and dear to my heart.
Right.
Special shout out. So there you go.
Yeah, we salute the big homie. Walked all the way to DC from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was such a honorable thing he did, you know, just to shed light on all the activities of violence and stuff that the people of Milwaukee area, in Wisconsin area, has
Yeah.
endured
Yeah.
with the police. So we thank him for that, and shout out to you for that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we thank all of you guys for tuning in. It's been an unbelievable episode once again, and thank you for all my people that dropped a chat. All of you that listened out on the line, we thank you. And until next time, y'all, it's the homie Mizzle to the Jizzle. You've been watching Talk 22. Till next time,
Hey.
peace.
Hey.
Yeah.
Right.
Blessings, y'all. Have a blessed